500 million years ago. The microcontinent was situated near the equator. The Western scientists called it Kazakhstania. The structure with almost full list of elements from the Mendeleev table inside its depth. What secrets does Kazakhstan soil have? How rich is it? Natural resources are the history of our land for thousands of years. It is the same age, or even older than our planet. It is billions of years old. It has a special place in today's world, and it is the main element of nuclear power industry, one that was involved in a number of big discoveries of the 20th century and had an important impact on many aspects of human life that are far from science, particularly on international politics. Its atomic number is 92. This is uranium. It is radioactive and produces heat after decay. This is an excellent raw material for energy production. Despite its ancient origin, the vast majority of people knew about it only after creation of nuclear weapons. However, the 21st century has transformed the destructive power of the atom to energy of the future that has its aim not to destroy, but rather to preserve our planet. After all, uranium is an energy-intensive type of fuel. Just imagine, 1 gram of coal is able to release energy to keep 100-watt bulb turned on only for 2 minutes. Meanwhile, the same amount of natural uranium will be enough to supply electricity for 1 hour to a small town with a population of 60,000 people. Since the moment when a human first tamed a fire, every single time he found more and more new energy sources – coal, oil, gas. In the end, we were able to harness the energy that is much more powerful. Nuclear one. Uranium is the main radioactive material used for the production of nuclear energy. This chemical element belongs to the actinide family. Uranium was discovered in 1789 by German chemist Martin Heinrich Klaproth during his study of the mineral, which is now also called pitchblende. A new chemical element was named after the recently discovered planet of the solar system. For a long time, the uranium was considered only as a metal. Radioactive properties of the element were discovered only in the late 19th century. And for more than 100 years, scientists have been unraveling the secrets of nuclear energy that helped to create nuclear power stations. After all, the energy produced by the atom is 1,000,000 times greater than that of other types of fuel known to the mankind.
Атомная энергетика занимает одно из ведущих мест в мире и тем.
Nuclear power industry has one of the leading positions in the world, and it is becoming more important in the 21st century. If talking about China, for example, they have developed a great program for the peaceful use of nuclear energy to generate electricity. China is a developing country, and therefore electricity is much needed here. This is one of the cheapest forms of energy. But how did uranium appear on the Earth? According to one of the hypotheses, it was formed as a result of the explosion of a supernova, where elements that were heavier than iron were formed. After that, they triggered turbulent clouds of cold hydrogen in the form of a shockwave. That was how the solar system's birth looked like 5 billion years ago, and somewhere there the chemical element uranium appeared. Today, almost 20% of the world's energy is produced in nuclear power plants, and the key element for the operation of the nuclear reactors is uranium. The global reserves of this element are almost 6 million tons. Kazakhstan is the second largest country by uranium reserves and a leader of its production. 2.5 tons of nuclear and raw material are extracted here every hour. The history of uranium mining in Kazakhstan started in the middle of the last century. As the Cold War was gaining its momentum and the arms race started, the nuclear power industry needed more and more uranium. The USSR launched several secret geological expeditions. Step by step, they were looking for uranium ores all over the Soviet Union. That are walking trips across the Kazakh steppe, when a person makes measurements after every 50, 100 and 200 meters. How else it should be found? This is the only way. For geologists, the most important tool for work is his feet. There are routes to walk 20 kilometers per day. You have to go and collect samples and measure everything that is necessary. And this work is not easy. After every 50 meters, and if more detailed study is necessary even after every 20 meters, we will take measurements. That is how all geologists work. The expedition with the code name Volkovskaya was searching for radioactive materials in the Kazakh steppes. So, in 1951, the important element was found in the Kordey field. Huge labor forces of thousands of people were involved, but it wasn't a waste of time. Just 2 or 3 years later, we discovered our first deposit. It was Kordey, that is not far from Almaty, just around 200 kilometers away, our famous Kordey Pass, the first primary deposit on the territory of the Soviet Union. Today, Kazakhstan has the largest reserves of natural uranium and holds a leading position in the global uranium market. The country possesses 12% of the world reserves. Today, Kazakhstan's uranium provides about 40% of peaceful nuclear energy for the world's needs, and it is exported to almost all countries of the world where nuclear power plants operate. Kazatomprom company is the national operator for exploring, mining, processing and exporting of natural uranium. Today, it is the largest nuclear company in the world. Kazatomprom mines are located mainly in the southern regions of the country. These are unique fields because expenses related to extraction of Kazakh uranium are low, while the extraction itself is very safe. The development of all deposits is conducted by using the method of in situ leaching. This method is considered by the International Atomic Energy Agency as the most environment-friendly and safe. To put it simply, such techniques as open-pit mining and underground mining are not used in Kazakhstan.
В середине 50-х годов открываются новые месторождения нового типа.
In the middle of 50s, deposits of a new sand and gravel type were discovered. It was discovered, but the concentration of uranium was very low, hundreds, thousands of % of uranium. Therefore, they refused of its development, and sometime later, a new technique of in situ leaching was found. It involves recovering minerals from the ore with the help of acids, and then we went back to the fields with low concentration of uranium. Yes, of course, there is much higher concentration of uranium in primary rocks, but these are heaps, dust, which no matter how the heaps of ore are covered, is blown away for tens of kilometers. But here the situation was completely different. The geological specifics of Kazakhstan mines, such as the Karatau Basin, is a layered structure. In the very heart, there is a sandstone surrounded by clay. which acts as a protective barrier to hold the radioactive uranium between layers. Therefore, being either on the surface or underground, uranium brings no harm to the environment. There is a huge area around the quarry that is contaminated by uranium component. In any case, it is a radioactive contamination, and there is nothing on the surface. Herds of cattle are calmly grazing, and people are living, but nothing occurs on the surface here. Even a sort of natural protection of the entire layer is taking place. It is absolutely clean and quite safe for the environment, because everything is going to the nuclear power plant through special protected pipes. But before uranium is processed, it will go through several chemical cycles, which takes 3 months. That is the time required for a special acid reagent to dissolve uranium.
Вот эта вот схема показана у нас. Как это делается? С поверхности. Начинается работа, конечно, с поверхности.
This is our scheme to show how we do it. The work starts on the surface. Several wells are drilled in accordance with special programs, and the solution is pumped into these wells. This is an acid solution. These wells called injection wells. The solution comes in a special layer, covered by clay deposits. That means impermeable rocks. But the reagent is pumped into permeable rocks. The reagent dissolves the rock, and through another hole, it is pumped on the surface, now containing element. The red well is an exhaust hole. Then it goes to the factory through pipes, to reactors and converters. This is a complicated process. Everything can be clearly seen in this reactor. After all, uranium reagent is deposited in these resins. In other words, the method of the in-situ leaching is a highly automated process, which minimizes human presence. At the same time, the system will extract the valuable radioactive element from the ground. According to experts, this method is especially good for those deposits where uranium is spread in small concentrations over large areas. In total, Kazakhstan has 6 uranium provinces, where 680,000 tons are concentrated. The largest and easiest to develop deposits are located in the south of the country.
Также у нас северо-казахстанская уранорудная провинция, это север Акмолинской области, Петропавловск.
We also have North Kazakhstan uranium province in the north of Akmola region, in the Petropavlovsk area of the Pavlodar region. There is the area of the primary rocks. It means that it is in solid rocks of granite, quartzite, and volcanic formations that once were extracted through open pit and underground mining. Also, we have uranium in the west of Kazakhstan. It is Caspian uranium ore province, sedimentary rocks in clay layers with oblique structures, as well as deposits of rare metals. Uranium and coal deposits are located in the Ili province along the Ili River, but they have not been developed yet, remaining on a standby. The basis of the mineral resource base of natural uranium in Kazakhstan is the exogenous infiltration fields. Thus, Uvanas, Minkuduk, Kanjugan, Moinkum, Agdala, Budonovskoy, and Inikai, where mining is carried out through in-situ leaching, belong to the Chu-Sarisu province.
Чем в Казахстане оказалось это наиболее выигрышно? Потому что в мире таких аналогов.
What is the main advantage of Kazakhstan? There are no such deposits in other countries of the world. Our fields are located in the areas of such huge basins as Chu-Sarisu and Sirdarya. There were specific sea conditions that allowed to generate huge amounts of those rocks that concentrate uranium. There are no other basins of similar scale and size anywhere in the world. Kazakhstan got lucky to have such wealth.
Вот Казахстану это досталось такое богатство.
All of this occur in the deep layers of sedimentary rocks. The occurrence depth of our deposits varies between 100 and 700 meters or even more. We are the only country in the world which mines uranium at depth greater than 500 meters, using the method of in situ leaching. Nowhere else uranium is mined at such depth. Then, after several stages of processing, the extracted uranium goes to the Ulba metallurgical plant. Here, the tablets of ceramic nuclear fuel for nuclear power reactors of different types are produced. In the short term, the National Atomic Company intends to move to higher value-added markets, and it has plans to produce finished fuel assemblies for nuclear power plants. One 4.5-gram fuel tablet of uranium dioxide that is produced at the Ulba metallurgical plant can generate the same heat as 400 kg of coal, or 360 cubic meters of gas, or 350 kilograms of oil do. As elsewhere in the world, Kazakhstan has increasing demand for energy every year. According to statistics, Kazakhstan annually produces about 80 billion kilowatts of electricity. The intensive consumption of energy requires new sources. Therefore, there is an urgent problem: how to fill the existing shortage, and the construction of nuclear power plants is one of the solutions. Scientists believe that Kazakhstan has all necessary conditions for the development of nuclear power industry. The country possesses huge uranium reserves and own processing industry with the opportunity to create a complete nuclear fuel cycle. Kazakhstan has also experience in operation of the world's first fast neutron reactor BN-350. It is located in the city of Aktau. There are two opinions here. Someone believes uranium nuclear power station is harmful. Someone thinks it's harmless. We also had the nuclear power station located in Mangistau, and now this station provides electricity to the city of Aktau and desalinates Caspian water to supply it to the city. This system is still working. The peaceful atom is able to guarantee the energy security of the country. At the same time, nuclear power stations are one of the most environment-friendly energy producers, along with solar and wind energy. In the future, scientists will build a reactor that will operate on nuclear wastes.
Сегодня экспортный потенциал – это то, что мы занимаем более.
Today, we occupy near 40% of natural uranium niche in the world. This is our export potential. We are talking about natural uranium. We settle more serious tasks, aimed not only at natural uranium sales, but also providing product with high added value. We've started to implement the strategy of our company's development. It is expected to take a leading position in the full nuclear fuel cycle in a particular niche. This is production, processing, fortification, conversion, fuel assemblies, as well as generation in the future.
Тепловыделяющие сборки, ну и в перспективе это генерация.
Over the past 10 years, Kazakhstan has increased amount of uranium mining almost 3 times. At the moment, the extracted reserves are equal to 20,000 tons per year. The most part of them is exported. The main trade partners of Kazakhstan for natural uranium is Russia, Canada, USA, France, India, and China. Japan has also started to show its interest to the country's product.
На сегодняшний день мы сотрудничаем с такими лидерами мировой урановой отрасли, Росатом.
Today, we are working with such leaders of the world uranium industry as Rosatom, Cameco, Areva, CNC, and CNPC China.
вышли на первое место в мире по добыче.
Before we became number one in uranium mining, they had occupied leading positions. But now, they are on the second, third and fourth places. They did not just come to us for cooperation. First of all, it was interesting to them. They were interested in our uranium reserves. We got uranium at its prime cost. The other countries do not have such prime cost as we do. It is a really attractive cost. But today we are ready to cooperate with other corporations that are interested to develop their business in Kazakhstan. But we have our own terms. We are considering such proposals, where high technologies are the cost of uranium. It means that if our future partners develop high technologies in Kazakhstan, we are ready to cooperate with them.
Мы готовы с ними сотрудничать.
According to the estimates of geologists, if taking the same mining rates, Kazakhstan has enough uranium for about 80 to 100 years. Meanwhile, there is a low level of replenishment of the mineral resource base in Kazakhstan, while transition to a closed nuclear fuel cycle will considerably increase energy potential of uranium reserves. According to experts, there is the reason why it is necessary to develop new fields.
Для восполнения сырьевой базы урана в прошлом году Казахстанпром
To refill the uranium raw material base, last year the country began to develop new uranium mines for the first time since declaring its independence. For example, in the Suzak district of the Shymkent region, a program for refilling uranium resource base was approved. Next year, uranium presence will be explored in almost all ore areas of the Kazakh region.
будут проводиться поиски на уран.
Uranium. Last century it was the element widely searched for creation of weapons of mass destruction that were able to destroy entire cities. Today, it is the element that hits our homes, lights hundreds of megacities and thousands of villages. In the 21st century, it is not a deadly weapon, but firstly a power creating energy that is so necessary for human lives. Today, people believe that nuclear energy is the future, because atom is an indivisible particle, which our planet and space and the whole universe and we are made of.